Assalamu alaikum, dear student and friend. I'm Dr. Nizamuddin. Today I'm going to present introduction of carbonyl compounds. In today's lecture, we will cover these topics. Let us start right now on the introduction of the carbonyl compound. Carbonyl is a moiety having carbon-oxygen double bond, and it is the most important part and incorporated in a variety of the organic compounds. Almost more than 70% of total organic compounds contains carbonyl moieties. Let us see the structure of very famous carbonyl compound. This is the first structure of the carbonyl compound. When carbonyl bonded with the one side, at least one side with hydrogen, other side could be hydrogen or any alkyl chain. It is known as aldehyde. Second one, when carbon is incorporated between two alkyl chains, it is known as ketone. When carbon bonded with other side with hydroxy, and other side we have basically a hydrogen or any carbon chain, it is known as the carboxylic acid. When hydrogen is being replaced of this carboxylic acid with any alkyl chain, it is known as ester. And when carbonyl is directly bonded with the halogen, especially the chlorine, is known as acid chloride. And when carbonyl is directly bonded with amine group, now see here, this nitrogen, when bonded with both sides, we have the hydrogen, it is of course is NH2, it is known as amide as well, and these two R and R prime and R double prime can be alkyl chain as well. It depends on the situation. Now when these carboxylic acid condensed together, and on the removal of the water molecule, we have basically another derivative of the carboxylic acid, which is known as acid anhydride. And in the last, when two amide molecule condense together to yield an amide. Now we can further categorize these carbonyl compound into two categories. One is basically aldehyde and ketone, and other one is the carboxylic acid. Rest are like ester, acid chloride, amide, acid anhydride, and imide are basically carboxylic acid derivatives. Now see the structure of the carbonyl group. As we can see, the carbonyl, whether it is aldehyde or ketone, is basically a planar molecule. And the carbonyl, carbon and oxygen are both are sp2 hybridized. Its structure is trigonal planar structure, and from all sides the bond angle are 120 degree approximately. And it is basically a polarized molecule between carbon and oxygen. Now, on this basis, that carbonyl is basically a planar molecule, you can also see it has a dipole as well from the carbon and oxygen. Of course, oxygen is electronegative and carbon is electropositive when we have the partial positive charge on both sides. When electron is basically shifting on this oxygen, then we have the carbon positive and oxygen negative charge as well. The most stable form of this carbonyl is basically this one, in which we have the complete octet. Okay. Now on this basis that we have discussed already in the previous slide, that carbonyl is basically having the flat geometry, or is basically a planar molecule. So it basically gives birth to the two phases. One is known as alpha phase and other is known as the beta phase. Now how we can distinguish between these two phases? When any nucleophile, or we can say for example below the plane of this flat molecule, phase is known as the alpha phase, and above the plane of this carbonyl moiety is basically the beta phase. Any nucleophile is attacking on the below the plane, and below the plane, above the plane, is basically deciding its stereochemistry as well. Okay, as we have discussed, the alpha phase below the plane, and beta phase is above the plane. Okay. Further, when we discuss the stereochemistry, we have basically two more phases of the carbonyl compound, which are known as re phases and psi phases. Actually, these two phases have the inspiration from the chiral carbon R and S. Like if you remember, we know that when any chiral carbon is bonded with four different groups, it is known as the R. And when with four different groups and in clockwise direction, we say it is R. And similarly, when any carbon attached with four different groups and these groups have the priority in anti-clockwise manner, we say it basically the S manner. But it is in when carbon have the single bond and tetrahedral geometry. While in case of the carbonyl, when we not have the carbon bonded with four different groups, but if the carbonyl carbon is actually attached with at least two different groups, and these two different groups basically provide two phases which are known as re phase and C phase, psi phase, which is basically focus on the carbonyl R or re and psi phases. Let's see how we can assign any carbonyl carbon who is basically attached with two different alkyl group or two different group vice versa. In this case, we have to locate the priority around the central carbon atom. If the priority order is high to low, is in clockwise, we say it's a re phase. Or if the priority order around the central carbon atom from high to low is anti-clockwise, we say it's a psi phase. Now let us see with the example. For example, see, this is basically a carbonyl molecule. One side, on the right side, we have the methyl, while on left side, we have the hydrogen. And if we basically look at the priority, see, these are basically, of course, the oxygen will have the highest priority in this case, the highest atomic number, and then methyl and this one. This is the priority order. The oxygen have the highest priority, then methyl, and then hydrogen. And it is basically rotating clockwise manner. So we can say it is basically having the rephase. See, and other example of the psi phase, if we rotate the molecule around the central carbon atom, the carbonyl carbon, on left side if you have the methyl and right side we have the hydrogen. Let's see the priority order. Of course, oxygen have the highest priority in this case, the first priority, and then methyl, and then the hydrogen. So this priority order would be in anti-clockwise manner, and we have basically the psi phase. Now let us discuss the reactivity of the carbonyl group. Especially now we are discussing about basically, let's see, we have already discussed this structure that carbonyl basically have two resonating forms. This is the most stable resonating form because in this case the carbon has the complete octet, while in this case we do not have the complete octet of the carbon. And of course this is almost having partial positive and negative charge in the head. It has the electron deficiency at this carbon, and we have the more oxygen, more electron on this oxygen. Now we can divide carbonyl reactivity into two parts. This carbon is actually electrophilic, means we can say in general that carbon is electrophilic from its carbon, while this carbonyl oxygen from its oxygen, it is nucleophilic. And now let us discuss these two properties in detail, that how a carbonyl carbon acts as an electrophile from its carbon. Now when any nucleophile comes into the vicinity to the carbonyl carbon, it will attack on this positive center of the carbon rather than on the oxygen. Definitely this carbonyl structure having the planar geometry, once a nucleophile will attack on this carbon, a weaker bond, the pi bond will broken up and the oxygen lone pair will shift on this oxygen, and we have this tetrahedral intermediate. Now keep remember, there are two possibilities regarding this tetrahedral intermediate. Of course, strong nucleophile or the hard nucleophile ones will attack on this carbonyl center. What about the strong nucleophile or the hard nucleophile? Hydroxy, methoxy, amide, cyano, water, alcohol, amide. These are the strong nucleophile. While we have some weak nucleophile as well, which cannot attack on this carbonyl center. Only strong nucleophile or the hard nucleophile can attack on this carbonyl center to give you this tetrahedral intermediate. While alkene, benzene, halide, and carboxylate ion cannot attack on this carbonyl carbon as a nucleophile to give arise this tetrahedral intermediate. Okay, now once this nucleophile will attack on this carbonyl carbon and the pi bond is being broken to give this oxyanion tetrahedral intermediate, there are two possibilities. And what are these possibilities? See, for example, one possibility is this one, that this oxyanion will come back on this oxygen or will collapse, and one of this X group will leave to give this final product, in which basically a nucleophile is attacking with the carbon and one of the group which is attached with the carbonyl carbon is leaving. This process is known as collapsing or collapsed, or in other words we can say the reaction is being collapsed. While we have some another priority when this oxyanion tetrahedral intermediate have basically an electrophile, rather collapsing, it will attack or give the lone pair to its to this electrophile and give this the final product. Now, why this happened? This all depends on this X, the leaving group, or we can say the leaving group tendency. If this leaving group is basically alkoxy or carboxylate ion or the halide ion, then we have more chances of collapsing and this final product. And if we have the other leaving group or this X, then we may have the quenching reaction in this case. Okay. Keep remember, directly when nucleophile will attack on the carbonyl center, it is not possible to eliminate this alkyl group because nucleophile cannot attack on the carbonyl carbon by in SN2 manner. Okay, so what happened in this case, because carbonyl carbon is sp2 hybridized and cannot proceed via SN2 reaction. Reaction must proceed via the tetrahedral intermediate. In some cases, what we do, we just draw this double-headed curly arrows, which is basically to avoid the time, to save the time by not writing the tetrahedral intermediate, then we write the product. Let us discuss the second property in which the carbonyl act as a nucleophile from its oxygen. When any electrophile come into the vicinity of the carbonyl carbon, then oxygen will act as a nucleophile and give its electron to the empty orbital of this electrophile. Now, these electrophile can be any proton from the acid or any Lewis acid like AlCl3 and BH3. Of course, Lewis acid has the empty orbital. Okay. Now, just keep remember, when carbonyl compound react with any acid, especially strong acid like HCl or sulfuric acid, definitely oxygen get attracted the proton from the acid, and we have the protonated carbonyl compound. Keep remember, protonation makes this carbonyl carbon from electrophilic to the more electrophilic. Okay, because now any electrophile can attack on this carbon easily. Okay, now let us discuss relative reactivity between aldehyde and ketone. If you look the structure between aldehyde and ketone, aldehyde are more reactive than ketone. How we can consider that aldehyde is more reactive than ketone? Let us see these very important points. The first factor by which we can say that aldehyde is more reactive than ketone is the steric factors. Now, any nucleophile, when attack on this carbonyl carbon and it is aldehyde molecule, it has just one alkyl group. And other side is basically free for any coming nucleophile and can attack easily. So that's why there is a very small steric factor. While in case of a ketone, when any nucleophile attack on this carbonyl carbon, both sides we may have the alkyl group and it can be a bigger alkyl group as well. So nucleophilic attack will be difficult. So in other words, we can say there is basically a steric hindrance between a nucleophile and the alkyl group. So that's why ketone are less reactive. Of course, it is more stable but less reactive. It is because of the steric hindrance. Now let us see the other factor by which we can say that aldehyde are more reactive than ketone. This factor is electronic factor. As you can see, the structure of these two aldehyde and ketone, when carbonyl attached with the alkyl group, of course, alkyl are donating the electron to stabilize the molecule. In aldehyde, we have just alkyl, one alkyl group, while in ketone, we have two alkyl group. Now, this is more stable and less reactive. So, and this you can see the positive inductive effect from only one R group in this case. That's why it is more reactive. While in case of ketone, both R and R prime group and making carbonyl aldehydic ketonic carbon less reactive and most stable. Thus, carbonyl carbon is less electrophilic in case of ketone. Now let us discuss the relative reactivity of the other carbonyl compound. Let's see if carbonyl carbon bonded with halogen like chlorine, which is known as acid chloride, it is more reactive. Then on the second most reactive carbonyl compound is acid anhydride. Then third one we have the ester, and the fourth one we have the amide. Now, what is the reason behind this, that acid chloride? Now, keep remember, I haven't discussed about the relative activity of the aldehyde and ketone. Aldehyde and ketone in comparison with the relative activity comes in between acid anhydride and ester. Okay, and ester amides are more stable than ketones and aldehyde due to their resonance stabilization. Now, if I ask you that why acid chloride is more reactive than acid anhydride, ester, or amide, it is just because of this leaving group. Now, keep remember, what about the leaving group ability? Chlorine, chloride is the good leaving group, while carboxylate, alkoxide, and amide is the worst leaving group as well, which making them the good living group, while which is making them amide the worst living group. Keep remember, this all depends on the pKa value of their conjugate acid. Now chloride ion is basically the conjugate base and its conjugate acid is HCl, while carboxylate is basically a conjugate base and its conjugate acid is basically carboxylic acid. And similarly, alkoxide is the conjugate base of alcohol, and amide is the conjugate base of the ammonia. It is basically, ammonia is not the acid, it is rather than a base. Now, one more thing, in this case, if these species less pKa value, it's a good living group. What about the pKh value? It basically the pK value of their conjugate acid. Among these species, uh, if their conjugate acid have the lesser pKAH, then they are the good leaving group. Okay. Now let us see the relative reactivity of the carboxylic acid. Keep remember, carboxylic acid is different than other carbonyl compound derivatives. What makes carboxylic acid different? Its structure making carboxylic acid different. Now keep remember, in carboxylic acid, we have this acidic proton. Now, any nucleophile is attacking or reacting with the carboxylic acid. Instead, this nucleophile will attack on this carbonyl carbon, it will attack on this proton, and we have basically acid-base reaction. Now, what happened in this case? We have this carboxylate anion. Now, keep remember, in this case, carbonyl carbon is not a good electrophile. Okay, and nucleophile react as a base, not basically reacting at this carbonyl center. This is basically why we can separate carboxylic acid from among the other carbonyl compound. Now that's all for today's lecture, and in the next lecture we will discuss about the aldehyde ketone, their reaction and synthesis, and then we will discuss about the reaction and synthesis and nomenclature of the carboxylic acid. Thank you.